Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5:30.
We begin tonight with breaking news. Reports are coming into our newsroom of a small plane crash just south of Fargo near I-29. Dispatch says it is by mile marker 55 off of I-29. Now, right now, it is unknown as to how many people were on the plane at the time of the crash. Valley News Team's Ashley Bishop is live on the scene now, and we'll go to her now with much more. Ashley, what can you say?
Good evening, Christine. We're about a mile away from where the plane crash is. It happened in the middle of this field behind me, just off of County Road 14 and off of the Interstate I-29. To give you some preference of where it is, it's by Star Fireworks and Memory Fireworks on I-29, so south of 52nd, south of Fargo. But Fargo Police, along with Cass County Sheriff's Department and Highway Patrol, along with fire crews, are out here responding to this. We do not know if there are any survivors at this point. We're waiting to hear what is fully going on. When we arrived on scene, we were about, I would say, a half mile from where the crash happened, down by emergency crews, but they have asked and pushed us back some of the way to get emergency crews in and out. We're just waiting to hear from Highway Patrol to get more information about what happened, and what we do know is that a small plane has crashed the second time in a week in Fargo. Christine?
All right, thanks so much, Ashley. As well, be sure to stick with Valley News Live and valleynewslive.com for updates. Now, in other news tonight, a 29-year-old Grand Forks man is in jail tonight, charged with armed robbery. Derek Alongi allegedly robbed a man in an All-True Hospital parking lot last night. Valley News Team's Neil Carlson shows us what happened and what you need to know to stay safe if you're a victim of crime.
It happened in this All-True employee parking lot at 11:40 Wednesday night. A male victim was confronted by a man police have identified as Derek Longi.
The All-True employee was confronted in the parking lot outside of All-True by an unknown subject brandishing a knife and demanding a wallet. So the victim provided the wallet. The suspect fled.
Multiple officers converged on the scene and were able to quickly arrest Longi near the scene of the crime. Lieutenant Zimmel says, fortunately, armed robberies like this one are not common around here. However, in this case, he says the victim did the right thing by calmly and quickly handing over his wallet and being observant.
That safety comes first, and what they can do is be a good witness. Whatever details that they can notice, remember, that can provide a very thorough and identifiable description of the suspect to law enforcement can result in stuff like this too. The wallet was gone temporarily.
Police also suggest that to keep from becoming a victim of crime, everyone should be aware of their surroundings. If your face is buried in a smartphone, you're more likely to be the target of criminals. In Grand Forks, Neil Carlson, Valley News Live.
Police are still sorting through evidence, but it's likely this armed robbery was captured on video. The entire area around the hospital is monitored with surveillance cameras. And there are still some flakes flying in the area, but no major concerns at this moment. So, Robert, anything to worry about for tonight?
As we go through this evening, we'll continue to see that chance for some flurries, and some freezing drizzle will also be possible, but both of those will remain on to the light side. Temperatures now across the region either at or below freezing, so any precipitation that is falling, the freezing drizzle, the snow, that will slowly accumulate on your cars and some exposed surfaces, but roadways for the most part should remain fine. Temperature-wise, 31 in Fargo, 27 for much of our northwestern counties. Winds relatively light out of the north, 5 to 15 miles per hour. They'll remain light tonight and through the day tomorrow. Precip-wise, too light for the radar to pick up, but again, we have seen some flurries and some freezing drizzle. And here in the Fargo-Moorhead area, as we head through the rest of the evening, we'll continue to see that chance for a little bit of flurry activity, a little bit of freezing drizzle, and steady temperatures just slowly falling to right around 30 degrees by the 9 o'clock hour. As we head through the next 7 days, we've got some winter type weather, much colder than what we're talking about here, and we'll detail that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Robert. Well, a 20-year-old Peposky, Minnesota man is being charged with sexually assaulting a woman he enticed into his vehicle at Bemidji State University. Richard Erickson, who is not a student, allegedly walked into a dorm and asked if anyone wanted to get high on marijuana. The female victim left with Erickson, and she says he gave her a drink that may have been drugged. The victim told police that she was driven to a remote location just north of Lake Bemidji and raped. She was later observed by friends stumbling out of Erickson's vehicle near a CVS pharmacy in Bemidji, and then she was taken to the hospital. If convicted, Erickson faces a maximum sentence of 15 years in prison. Martin Jude Decado Jr. of Jamestown is now charged after allegedly breaking into a woman's apartment and falling asleep in her bed. The woman told police all of her doors were locked, and she thinks Decado might have come through a window. When police walked into the bedroom, they could smell a strong odor of vomit and alcohol. Decado's blood alcohol content was 0.309, and that's nearly 4 times the legal limit. He was taken to the state hospital for detox and later arrested for criminal trespass. Dilworth police need your help identifying this man. They say he walked out of a Walmart with a 32-inch TV. So if you know who he is, you are asked to call police at the number on your screen. That number is 218-287-2666. The Minnesota Commissioner of Health announced today the decision to add post-traumatic stress disorder as a new qualifying condition for the state's medical cannabis program. Dr. Ed Ellinger says the decision was made after carefully deliberating available evidence, consulting with experts in the field, and also public input. Petitioners put forward a total of 9 conditions for this consideration this year, including PTSD, schizophrenia, arthritis, autism, and depression, just to name a few. Meanwhile, the federal government has approved clinical trials of the drug ecstasy as means to treat PTSD. Some 2,000 military veterans are expected to arrive at the Pipeline protest camp near Cannonball, North Dakota by Sunday. The plan is to support the several thousand protesters who are already there as the Monday deadline approaches for them to get off the land owned by the Corps of Engineers. But North Dakota veterans organizations have written the group asking them not to come. In fact, they called the news conference today to distance themselves from the Veterans for Standing Rock group. They say while the VSSR has a right to peacefully protest, the past protests at the construction site and even in Washington are way out of line.
The VSSR decision to involve themselves with this unlawful activity is unnecessary, disgraceful, and not reflective of the veteran community. Their intention is to protest on December 7th at the 75th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. It is an insult to the few remaining World War II veterans of North Dakota.
The VSSR has a GoFundMe page to support its efforts, and to date it has raised more than $784,000 toward a $1 million goal. Reuters is reporting that President-elect Donald Trump is considering Democratic U.S. Senator Heidi Heitkamp for a position in his cabinet. Meanwhile, Heitkamp is getting some FaceTime with the new commander-in-chief. Heitkamp announced she will be meeting with Trump Friday afternoon. Today, Heitkamp says in part, every single day my work is motivated first and foremost by how I can be helpful to the people of North Dakota. Whatever job I do, I hope to work with the president-elect and all my colleagues in Congress on both sides of the aisle to best support my state. Now, there's no word yet on any specific topics the two plan to cover, so be sure to stick with Valley News Live for updates on this developing story. Today, President-elect Trump was on the road and then out in public for the first time since his election. First, he went to Indiana to officially announce that Carrier Air won't send 1,000 jobs to Mexico. His next stop, Ohio. That's to thank voters in a state that was a key victory. Brian Moore has the latest from Washington.
In his first official trip since the election, President-elect Donald Trump traveled to Indiana, where he celebrated Carrier Air's decision not to export 1,000 jobs to Mexico.
These companies aren't going to be leaving anymore. They're not going to be taking people's hearts out.
He was accompanied by VP-elect and Indiana Governor Mike Pence, who played a key role in making good on a campaign promise to keep jobs in America.
Today, America won. And we have Donald Trump to thank.
So excited. It's great news.
It's a holiday gift for workers who'd been bracing for unemployment. Carrier says the state offered $7 million in incentives over the next decade. But CNBC has confirmed Carrier is closing another Indiana plant, exporting 700 jobs to Mexico. That includes the one held by this Trump supporter.
I'm glad he's able to save some jobs. Obviously, I wish they'd be able to save ours also.
After Indiana, the president-elect scheduled a rally in Cincinnati. First stop on a thank you tour of the battleground states that handed him the White House. Well, the president-elect is looking ahead. Elections officials in Wisconsin are looking back to Election Day. They're recounting every vote, a task that will keep them busy around the clock for the next 2 weeks. Brian Moore, NBC News, Washington.
Green Party candidate Jill Stein is paying $3.5 million for that recount. Minnesota Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer will miss what is considered a pivotal game against the Dallas Cowboys tonight after undergoing emergency surgery on his eye. General Manager Rick Spielman says Zimmer has never missed a game as a head coach. Tonight's game will be held on NBC starting at 7:25. The Fargo Dome was alive today with ninth graders getting a look at career opportunities in health, technical, and also trade fields. Some 2,800 young people from nearly 40 area schools got not only a close look, but in some cases, actual hands-on time. More than 60 businesses took part in the demonstrations and the breakout sessions.
So a lot of these programs and these careers have a 2-year focus or a technical type program. And so we want to open up the opportunities for the students to see what they could do, like drive a crane or use a pumper truck, any of those types of activities.
This is the 14th year the home builders have sponsored this career expo. Does a healthy lifestyle make a good gift? Well, some gyms are offering memberships now to give as presents and get people in the mindset once the year turns into 2017. Valley News Team's Ashley Bishop explains how there are options other than the typical gyms and what you can do if you're interested in teaching your family to eat healthier.
Many fitness businesses out there are trying to get people ready for a change.
There's different workout plans, there's different boot camps, but I don't know of anything that is comprehensive like this.
A Moorhead gym is offering a 2-month-long challenge that will give people a lifestyle change. After many people asked, how can my family and I live a better life? Solemn decided to start the 2017 Body Transformation Challenge. It holds the participants accountable, and only a limited number of people will be accepted.
In order for some people to transform, that commitment has to be all or nothing, and I think that's scary for people because some people are also afraid of what happens if I actually reach my goal.
But if you and your family are not ready for a full lifestyle change and simply want to learn to eat better, another local business can help.
Where we're showing portion control and we're showing that healthy eating doesn't have to be boring and that it can be a way of life and you can enjoy your food just as much as if you were eating, the stuff you maybe shouldn't be all the time.
Power Plate Meals offers a nutritionist to its meal plan customers to help stay on track with their goals. Holcomb and Solemn says accountability is what people need, so it's important to get the whole family involved.
If anytime you want to make a change, if you have an accountability partner or a coach or a family member or like with this, you'll have a group of people that will also be holding you accountable, you're more likely to succeed.
Solemn reminds people to not get stuck in their routine and to try different fitness and health options. Ashley Bishop, Valley News Live.
The challenge in meals may cost a little more up front for some, but both businesses say what you take out of it will allow you to utilize it more in your life. To learn more about Transformation Challenge or Power Plate Meals, click on this story at valleynewslive.com. Could white wine boost your melanoma risk? Hear what a story says a little later in the show.
We'll see some chilly conditions along with some freezing drizzle and flurries tonight. Tomorrow, cloudy and cool. A touch warmer over the weekend, but more unsettled weather as we head through the weekend and into next week. Your forecast details coming up right after this.